podcast that showcases people you may not know who are choosing to use their gifts to inspire and move the planet.
All right, so my guest is Justina Ford today. Thank you so much for joining us on Straight Outta Savannah, Talking with Tammi. I am just pleased and so excited to welcome Justina Ford. So Justina, tell everyone who you are.
Yes, hello everybody. My name is Justina, like Tammi just said. I am, wow, so many things. I'm a veteran spouse. I am a homeschooling mother, a child of God. Don't forget that. And I am a business owner. I own two businesses, J4 Creations Makeup Artistry and Soulfully Aligned Coaching and Healing. Those are the two businesses that I own. And I'm also a worship leader at my church, and I volunteer with a ministry called the Sunshine Girls. And I just picked up a packet today to be a part of respite care for the foster parents. You know, they're the ones taking the children in, watching them, and if they want to go on vacation or they want to go on a dinner out or something, I would love to support those families as well.
That is very nice.
It's a little bit about me.
That is very nice. I did not know that about the respite for the foster kids. I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yes, I didn't either until I went to church. Well, they had been talking about it for a few weeks, but they actually had the woman that's in the foster care that's over Liberty County and Long County for Hinesville and Little Whiskey, about an hour from Savannah. She was actually at church today and she gave us a packet. So I feel like I'll be able to really reach out and just play that role and be support, in the community. So I'm excited about it.
That's very positive. That is very positive. So how did you get started? Even let's go with the makeup, because that always is intriguing to me, just how people actually got started.
Yes. Wow. The makeup is really something that was like rooted from my childhood. I think when I was in high school, I did makeup horribly, but I still loved it. When I was in college, I did makeup horribly, but I still had fun doing it for myself and my friends and all of that. And when I was in high school, I told my parents, I said I wanted to go to cosmetology school for hair and makeup. And they basically told me no. They were like, you're definitely not doing that. You're going to go get a 4-year degree and you're going to have a real career, So I went off to college. I got the master's in human service counseling and business. And while I was studying my master's, like I was probably less than a year out from finishing, my husband got orders to be stationed in South Korea. So being stationed there, I had to make a decision, like, am I going to finish out this master's in counseling because I wanted to go the licensure route, or am I going to go with my family and kind of like tweak it a bit, So I decided to go with my family, of course, because I love my husband and my children. And when I chose to go with my family, I had to tweak my programs. I did the human service counseling with a concentration in the business route instead of the mental health route. But while I was studying that, over in Korea, there was an opportunity to volunteer at the theater. So the English students get together and they're at the theater and all that stuff. So I just volunteered out of just like, oh, this is an old passion of mine. Let me volunteer and do the makeup, for the students there, the actresses and the actors, Nice. So I had so much fun, doing their makeup. And then eventually they got a budget. And they asked me, they're like, hey, can we pay you for the next show? Like, what would your rate be? We have a budget. And that was an eye-opening moment for me because I'm like, wait a second, I can get paid for this.
Yes, and have fun.
And have fun, exactly. So that really changed like my mindset because all of that happened while I was still studying my program. So I actually started the makeup business before I finished my program. So it was like when I finished the master's, it was like, I'm doing this makeup thing now and I want to continue doing that. So I kept doing it even after we left Korea and we came back to the States. But while I was in Korea, I was doing the research and everything, just networking with different photographers, letting them know I'm coming back to the States, having test shoots set up and all of that so that I would be able to find work quickly. So that's how I got into the makeup artistry work. But quickly, I did have to figure out what my niche was going to be, right? Because I was doing theater work, and then I came stateside and I started working with photographers and I started working with models. And eventually I found the niche of boudoir work, which was the hair and makeup. And then from boudoir work, I got into commercial makeup work, doing makeup for documentaries, commercials, interviews, politicians, that type of stuff. So that's where I landed with the makeup.
That is awesome. That is awesome. And so as you were doing the makeup, did that coaching business evolve from that? Or was that something that, you know, kind of like the makeup that sounds like you stumbled into it, but not really? You know, it's like you were directed. We call it stumbling, but we know it's just, we're directed.
That's so true. That is so true. I like that you make that distinction between like, oh, I just kind of fell into it. No, there's always that guidance, that inner knowing. And I guess that's why I kind of mentioned, like, even from childhood, like it was something that I loved, but I didn't trust myself. You know, I went with what my parents told me. And eventually I came back around to that thing that was truly there. But to answer your question around the coaching, it was kind of like a natural extension. Like as I was doing the quote unquote beauty work, I began to see women, especially in the boudoir industry, they would come to the shoots. I could see the lack of self-worth, low self-esteem, not really feeling worthy. Like they're so nervous and they're so scared to be in front of the camera, you know, so they were lacking that confidence. So I began to just feel like, wow, I'm only doing half the job, right? Like I'm making them look beautiful on the outside, but what are we doing about their inside?
Yes.
So that's kind of, yes. And women would sit in my chair and they would say, oh, that's so awesome that, you know, you got into makeup and all this stuff. Like they want to do something else with their life, but they're not necessarily confident to go into it. They don't know how they could really pursue their passion. And I just got really interested in wanting to help women further, you know, than just them looking beautiful on the outside. I wanted to help them build their confidence, know that they're worthy, help them with the steps, you know, and reaching their goals on whatever those goals were for themselves. So, yeah.
So you began to see that there was a marriage there.
Yes, it really was. One of my taglines was so much more than makeup at one point, you know, I'm like, this is so much more than makeup. The name of that coaching was The Purposeful Pursuit to a Beautiful You. I stemmed out into that. And then eventually I got to a place where I did open up my own location out in town. And I kind of shied away from that particular branding because I was like, people aren't going to get it. I didn't trust myself. So I changed the name of my business, which is so funny. And that's how we get to the Soulfully Aligned Coaching and Healing. I'm like, people are going to get that more. But it really did stem from that, the purposeful pursuit to a beautiful you. That was like the core of my business. And it's funny because I'm in a place right now where I'm beginning to like reevaluate and really look over my business. I think we do it like we're always evolving. And sometimes we find that we may even go back full circle. So just today as I was riding to church, this is in real time, I was asking God, I'm like, gosh, are you really trying to get me to go back to like my original branding? Is that what you're trying to take me to? Like the purposeful pursuit to a beautiful you. So I don't know, but that really is the core, that we are walking this path. And sometimes we're on a path that, you know, we feel from other people that we should walk this path, right? I call it the path perceived. We're picking up things from other people that we're supposed to do it this way. And at some point we have to give ourselves permission, you know, to step off that path. And I think that was like that splitting point for me. I remember it clear as day because I had so much criticism in my head when I was stationed in Korea. And people were asking me, are you really going to start that makeup business? You have a master's degree. Like you need to put that master's degree to use. You'll be making $70,000, $80,000 if you go ahead and do that. And it was like, it wasn't about the money for me. It was really about being able to do the work that I felt passionate about, stepping
Yes.
into like taking a leap of faith
Yes.
and doing something that I felt called to do. And sometimes that's not a pretty journey sometimes. That's a
Most
cut
of the
and
time
pay
it's not.
sometimes. Yeah, sometimes there's negative things, like people criticize you, they look down on you, they think you're
Yes.
crazy,
Did
all
you
of
lose
that.
friends as well in that journey?
Oh, did I lose any friends? If I'm really honest, I don't really keep a lot of people close to me
Yeah.
just because I know how like sensitive I can be. So
So you're empath.
yes, very much so. I can feel all day. And
Mhm.
if I have to like put those walls up a little bit. That's an area that I'm growing in myself.
Yes.
I can't say that I lost friends, but
Mhm.
the people that I loved and I still love to this day, they were the ones to make me feel like, am I sure? Like made me question myself.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
actual people that I care about and love, like
Yes.
they were the ones questioning me. And because I love them so much and they hold those like special near dear places to my heart, they're just not people I would cut off.
Right.
They're people that I got to prove wrong.
That's
That had
exactly.
to swallow back whatever they were talking about. So, and not, in a like ugly kind of way, like,
No, in a good way.
in a good way, right? And they said, wow, Justina, I'm so glad you went after it. You know, you still went after it anyways. They had to come back and say, I'm so proud of you,
Yes.
which in turn made me feel really good because I'm like, oh, they finally get it now.
It took you a minute, and I'm glad that I went the way that I wanted to go and not the way you wanted me to go.
Exactly.
And
Oh
but
yeah.
and you're happy, and that's the point.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm just ecstatic. I mean, just listening to you talk about that journey and how you came around to it. And even though there were people that were telling you, no, you should go and do something with your master's degree, and and go into the field that you were talking about, into human resources and business and all this kind of stuff, but not knowing that that's exactly what you're doing, and you're doing it
Exactly.
because of how you feel, and you're being in touch with who you are and bringing it out into the world to help this world to awaken, because that's really the point of why people like you and people like I, are here, because we're here to help people to awaken and to get, to another place, to get someplace that they're happy with. For me, I stopped just the other day. I said, I believe I'm a happiness consultant because I want people to be happy. And I really like doing that. And I really, really do. So I
Mm,
was like, okay, so that's something, a part of, who I am. Because, I feel like, the reason why so many people are leaving here early is because they're not happy. They're not happy. They're not doing what they enjoy doing. They're not doing things they want to do. They're not, making a difference in this world. And the thing is we all want that. Everybody just doesn't realize it,
hmm.
that we
Oh
want
yeah.
in the world.
Oh yeah. This idea of happiness. Oh my goodness, it's such a deep, deep thing. Like for us to be able to get
Yes,
in tune with that. Something my pastor said today. He said that happiness is about what you're doing and who you're with,
yes,
not about like what you have or what you can obtain.
I agree.
And that was like, I love when people can, I'm not a natural teacher, so to speak. I'm a coach. Like I hold space and I'm going to like, dig deep with you and all of
You
that.
you are
But
you are a natural teacher.
well, I mean, in the sense of like how people have like those little, I can't even think of the word now, but they always have like these cool little like sayings or something that help you like break things down. I'm like, oh man, I can't break it down just like that. But when he said that, he made it so simple. The it is, I can't even remember what I just said, but who you're with and what you're actually doing, right? And I think that was for me like what I was doing with my life.
Yes,
For me, it
because
was
if you
about,
find yourself second guessing
did I
yourself.
ever find myself second guessing?
Yes,
Oh my goodness, all the time.
Okay.
All the time.
Mhm.
I am second guessing. Um, but at the same time, it's a matter of being able to be committed to the path at the same time, like knowing that second guessing is a part of the process.
Right.
So I give myself permission to second guess, take
Mhm.
action, let a little bit unfold, and then, oh wow, look what happened when I took
We
that
all hurt.
action.
Exactly.
Exactly. I think it's so important for us to give ourselves permission to take risks, to take chances.
Yes.
Um, so yeah, my happiness before, I would say that I remember a time in my life where I would imagine myself walking down the road and wishing that I'd get hit by a car. I
Ah.
remember having daydreams like that.
Mhm.
And it's because I was kind of just stuck in this loop of I'm a mom, I'm a wife, and these are the only things that I can do right now. Like, I don't know what else to do with myself. How do I like find my passion and what I want to do with my life and all of that? It was like being a military spouse, you're about mission and your husband's about mission, and his stuff goes first and you see what you can do to squeeze in along the way,
Mhm.
and I gave up some things and I
Yes.
gave it up for family. But at the same time, it was like I still needed my own like passion, my own thing that I'm making an impact with,
Yes.
putting to use my skills and talents and all of that. And I didn't have that for some time.
Mhm.
And it was a low place, like constantly applying for jobs, not getting any of those jobs, waiting on not even getting an interview. Okay.
Yeah.
Serious. Like, can I at least get an interview? So I think that's when I stepped into that volunteer work, because I was like, okay, I'm sitting at home trying to get a job all the time. Like, let me do something, anything.
Yes.
And the volunteer work with that theater, that was just, I didn't know what that was going to turn into. Just
It was a
showing
God
up,
moment.
right? Showing up, serving, giving something, that I had. And I think that's a place sometimes where people will look at their lives and maybe think, I don't have anything to give. I don't
Yeah.
have anything to offer. And it's
Mhm.
like, we all have something to give. We all have something to offer. I don't care
Yes.
if it's that you're going to a nursing home and you are playing goldfish with the people that are there.
Right.
You're spending time with them. You are giving them a portion of who you are,
Yes.
and that's so
Yes.
important. And you never know who you're going to meet along the way. That
Right.
even helps to shape your desires and maybe even shift a desire within you.
Right.
So that whole idea of serving is like so important.
It's like
So,
super valuable. It's like I still remember one of my favorite scriptures where the Bible says your gift will make room for you.
mm,
And that is exactly what has happened to you.
yes.
Your gift made room for you and brought you before great men. Because that gift opened doors for you that you didn't even see at that moment, right?
Yes, that's so true. That's so true. I never really looked at that scripture and applied it to myself or my situation. So thank you for just letting me see it through those lens. Like, I never really thought about it that way.
No worries. That to me, that is such a powerful scripture, and I think about it all the time. I think about it for myself. I'm like, okay, what is the gift that is bringing me before great men? You know what I mean? And so
Mhm.
that's how I thought about that particular scripture. And as you were talking, I was like, yeah, her gift made room for her. I was like, and that was like exactly, I believe, how God wanted it to be for us and how he wanted us to see this, and it's
Yes.
just amazing just to hear how it just took you, from place to place, and it's almost like, to me, you were almost like Alice, going down the rabbit hole. And then, there's this, and then you meet the rabbit, and then you meet the squirrel, the skunk, or whoever, the people that she met. I can't remember now. But you meet
It's
these
okay.
people and they open up things for you. You
That's
know
so
what I mean?
true.
And the thing is what I'm learning is it doesn't have to even be like a long encounter. It doesn't have to be like
Mm,
somebody that is just continuously in your life. It could just be one word, one day, you know?
mm,
And so it's amazing, as you've gone to see your progression. And I don't know what you see, but when I see you, I see an awesome, like an entrepreneur extraordinaire. You know what I mean? This is what I see when I watch you. Just food for thought for you.
Wow. Thank you so much for sharing that. I think, at this point, I'm in a season in my life where I really am like just, how can you say, like just looking over everything, like the past 10 years
But
and
about how
just
old are you?
seeing. I am 35. I'll
Yeah,
be 36 this year.
yeah, that's
So
that age.
really? Okay, so I'm normal. I'm like, something's going on.
Like you start
Like,
seeing, you start looking ahead. You're like, okay, now where do I go from here? Because I'm here. This is a good
mhm,
place,
yeah.
but where is it that I'm going, and where's my life going, and where's my legacy happening? And these are the things that you begin to do around that age.
Exactly. So, yeah, I love to share that because I do have, a few clients, just people in my mastermind groups that, they're either just getting started or whatever. And they're like, I'm so confused and I don't know what direction to go. And I got this going on. I got this going on. And I'm like, can I tell you a secret? Like, that doesn't really change. Like, you have seasons of knowing what you're doing, and you have seasons of like, what am I doing?
Yes,
And I'm in that season right now of like, God, where are you really taking me next?
yes.
And I love the work that I do. I love the Christian energy healing work. I love the brand strategy work. I love the makeup work. Like just a couple weeks ago, I did makeup for Raphael Warnock. He's the pastor over Ebenezer Baptist Church in Atlanta, Georgia, the
Oh,
church that Martin Luther King used to pastor.
oh, okay.
So I'm like, woohoo, I'm part of history because he's for
That
his
is
political
amazing.
campaign.
Oh, you
Yes,
go,
he's
girl.
he's running for U.S. Senate. So I'm just
Is
like,
he
wow.
really in
Yes,
Georgia?
mm-hmm.
Okay, so all right,
Yes.
you already got me. So now I have to basically, push that thing because my family's mostly a lot of them are there on my mom's side. So I have
Yeah.
a lot of family in Georgia. So I'm like when what's her name was running you know what I'm talking about for the
I
governor?
know who you're talking about. I cannot, her name is escaping me right
Me
now, but I
too.
know
I
exactly who you're
slammed that.
talking
I
about.
slammed Facebook. I mean, I was like, y'all gotta vote. Y'all gotta vote. Y'all
Mm-hmm.
gotta vote. We have a chance to have a beautiful woman governor, black woman. Oh, y'all gotta vote.
Mm-hmm.
So I was really like pushing, making sure that, my people got out and vote because I feel like my granddaddy would have done that because he marched about the king and all that good stuff. So he
Look
was
at
like, we were
that.
18, he was taking us to go register.
Wow, that's
Register vote.
awesome.
He didn't play with that stuff. You know,
That's so important. It is
yeah,
so important.
yeah. And people don't, they want to talk about it, but they don't want to go out and be a part of the process, and that's wrong. And my granddaddy was
Mm-hmm.
like, there were so many people that fought and died for you to have this right. So get your behind out there and go to it.
Gotta take advantage of it for
Gotta take
sure. Oh, yeah.
awesome, awesome. I'm so excited about that.
So yeah, I love that. Like, I know sometimes people hear makeup artists and they might think, and this might be my own, sometimes we carry our own limiting beliefs.
Yes.
But I used to worry people would be like, oh, she's ditzy. Oh, she's only about the surface. Oh, she's
Just the
only
makeup
about
artist,
this.
right?
Yeah, don't
Just the
forget
makeup
that. Just a makeup artist, all of that.
Yeah.
But I love that my work can be deeper and actually have impact. Yes, I'm there powdering a nose, but I'm also behind the scenes on some amazing and great things, like this campaign for US Senate. Like, that's deep stuff. I love it. Like, even just listening to them write his script, and every time he spoke that script, it was like I would get emotional. I'd get goosebumps and butterflies like right there on set. So it's so awesome just being able to be a part of things like that.
Yes, and being that up close and personal. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's like, it's like, I'm gonna watch it on TV, but you see it. You could be right there, and it's like, man,
Yes.
that is
Look, when you see the camera go by the kitchen, I was in the corner in the
right
kitchen.
there.
I
Yes,
was
that
there.
is so awesome. Oh my
Mhm.
God, that is like, whew, that kind of stuff just lights me up, because it's
Yes.
like, just to be a part of that process. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Because I
yeah.
think about it now, it's like, I used to say, I wished I was back in like the 50s and 60s so I could have been a part of that process.
Mm-hmm.
But then I realized that God, he knew what he was doing. I couldn't have, I probably would have been dead.
I'm about to say only some of us could have existed during that time.
Yes.
You know, the
Mhm.
way we think and carry on now. And I know that our environment shapes us and everything. So I know we speak from having already, you know, processed our emotions and thoughts from our environment here. So I would say the same thing, like, oh, I got my feet cut off a long time ago because I would have kept running. I can't be
Yes.
sitting there dealing with some of that stuff. But, you know,
Exactly. That's what I'm like. I said, oh no. I said, because even, even today, it's like now, you know, and I didn't even embrace this mission, but I'm on a mission to help white people learn how to, you know, to see their white privilege and realize that it's not like that for everybody, and it's not
yeah.
not right that it's not.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like things like I found myself talking to some of my white girlfriends that you didn't have to tell your sons to keep your hand on the wheel when they were driving.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a conversation that you had to have. But did I
Yeah.
have it? Yes, I had it twice. I told
Mm-hmm.
Matt 3 times, set them all down.
Yeah.
Hey, you know who you are, you know where you are, you got to put your hand on the wheel, be respectful, don't talk back to these crazy officers when they stop you. I said, because it's not even if, it's when, because it happened many
Mm-hmm.
times. You know what I mean? And I'm
Yes.
like, I want my children to come home at night. I don't want them blowing them away because they're reaching for their wallet or something, or because they felt like, they were a threat because of the color of their skin. And that is really what has happened. And so
Mm-hmm.
I find myself educating them. And there are a lot of them, they don't realize.
Yeah.
They don't realize. They have no clue. And sometimes when I talk to them, I can pick that up, that they don't have a clue. And then when they realize, they're like, I'm white privileged. Yes, you are.
Mm-hmm.
Because they think because they're not, they weren't rich or whatever when they were growing up or whatever, that they're not. But you are, just for the sake of how you look. I said, because certain things you can do, you won't get any type of reprisal for. But if I do, because we were at work, and I said, if I did that, I said, they'd be trying to fire me. I said, but they want to talk to you and give you a warning and, give you some counseling or whatever. I said, but if it was me, I said, they would be ready to walk me out the door.
Mm.
I said, and I know this, I recognize this, and I feel it. I said, is it right? No, it's not right. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's awesome that you can have that conversation with your Caucasian friends and that they're actually willing to listen and
Yeah, it's
be a
like,
part of the conversation. And I think that that's so important that we can just even have the conversation
yes,
around these type of things, because it's just important for people to be aware and to understand. When we can understand what another person is going through, then we can have the empathy, and then our actions can
yes,
change,
yes,
and I think that that's the most important thing is we can be a champion for life in general, because I know that there's that the debate around this thing about Black Lives Matter, and it's like, they do matter, and the only reason why we say that is because we see what's happening in media, or we see what's happening to those our Black brothers and sisters. So that's the reason why we say that. It's nothing to say that all lives don't matter. We know that all lives matter,
the
and
thing
we should
is,
all come and rally around each other
yes,
for
the thing
those
is
things.
if our lives did matter, then nobody would have to come up with a thing saying Black Lives Matter, because we would know that.
Exactly.
And it would be shown that, and it would be proven, and we wouldn't have to go through the things that we go through in order to, to deal with the things that we deal with. So
Mm-hmm.
that's a part of it. And it's like, okay, and how did we go here? I don't know.
Well, I brought up Martin Luther King Jr., that makeup job. We can't help
And
it.
it
It
is Black
opened the
History Month.
conversation.
And it is Black History Month.
Yes, and
So,
it's Black History Month. Look at us go. That's right. We still got a whole nother week to talk about this stuff.
right. So it's like, okay. But you're right, and it's like, as we go and as we grow in our lives and stuff, and for me, like, I turned 50,
Mm.
almost 2 years ago now. So
Okay.
that was a whole nother, transition. It's a whole nother, it's like, to me, it's like a freedom, because I think back and I think in the old days, 50 was when you died. Well, apparently now it is too.
That just crossed my mind. Based on our conversation earlier, right?
Right? It's like, but that was like the life expectancy for everyone was like 55 or something like that. So, people were preparing to leave here and all that. And I thought, okay, so now we're in this place where we don't have to prepare to leave here. But what we do have to do is prepare to stay here. That's it.
Yeah.
We have to prepare to stay here. So the thing that you're doing is such an important work. The work that you're doing. What do you call it? Soul coaching?
Oh, soulfully aligned coaching and healing.
That
yes.
is amazing. And that work is so necessary and so needed. And the makeup, the thing is even though you feel some kind of way about the makeup, but you love doing it and you feel like maybe, because people try to make you feel that, it's just you're just a makeup artist. Like if you're a hairdresser, you're just a hairdresser, not realizing that, people need you. People need you, not only for that part, but they need your energy. They need your empathy. They need your strength. They need to be built up. So as you're making them up, you're building them up and you're giving them strength and you're transferring some energy and all that stuff. So you're not just a makeup artist. And I laugh about that because I get that all the time because I've been a nurse for almost 30 years by my LPN, right? Mm-hmm. And so people will say, oh, you're just an LPN. I said, yep, I'm just an LPN. I said, but if you were having problems, I bet you'll be calling me, won't you?
That's right. It's so crazy that that would even come out of someone's mouth. Like when I think of an LPN, I'm like, oh my gosh, she's an LPN. Like I put you guys up here, But I think that just shows how no matter what field we're in, sometimes we can be devalued on all different types of levels. And it could either be us devaluing ourselves, which I know part of it is my own story, devaluing myself. And then there are other people that do devalue, what I do or what you're doing. So it's just so interesting because for me, that's like a prestigious position, I put you way up here.
My thing is, I believe that everybody's purpose is what their purpose is.
That's so true.
For me, do I think that was my purpose? No, it wasn't. I don't think. But I've been doing it all this time. You know what I mean? Now I'm ready to retire from it and do something else. Yeah.
Which is going to be beautiful because my sister, she actually went to school for accountancy, and I probably shouldn't have said my sister. Sorry, love you, sis. But she went to school for accountancy and she graduated with honors and all that stuff, went into the field and quickly, within 3 to 5 years, realized whoa, this is not for me. So it's so often that I think sometimes we chase money.
Yes.
Because that field of finance, that's going to be where the money's at. And then you get into it and you quickly realize that money is not everything it's cracked up to be. Doing the work that you feel purposed to do is so much more. Right? And I'm just how can you be so smart? You're so smart in this field, but you just don't like it. Sometimes it blows my mind, but it's just true. Yes. Just because you're good at it doesn't mean you were meant to do it. Yeah. So I think that's another thing also. But I found myself on this journey, when we were talking about the whole, you're just a makeup artist, where I was proud of my makeup journey. Then as I got into the deeper work with coaching, I started to suppress the makeup because I didn't want it to water down the deepness of my coaching and all the work I do with my clients. I was like, oh, that's going to be a distraction. People aren't going to get it. And now recently, the end of last year and this year, God has been purposefully giving me more makeup jobs. And I'm not looking for these things. They're just coming to me. And I'm just okay, Lord, I know it's a blessing, but when you're trying to suppress it and you're more concerned with what other people think, you kind of get a little frustrated by it. So that's been my journey this year since 2020 came in. I'm like, Lord, teach me to be grateful for everything that you bring my way, right? All the opportunities that you bring my way. Yes. So that's something remember I said I'm on this journey of going back and looking back over every aspect of my business. And God is saying, no, you can do both. You better hold both because I gave you both. Stop trying to put one to the side and act like that part of you doesn't exist when it totally does. I blessed you with it. I've given you the means and the opportunity to do it.
Yes.
When are you going to start appreciating it? And I think that's a place that I'm in right now where I'm starting to just be.
Streams.
Oh, say that again.
5 streams. You already got 2.
Yeah.
And the thing is, you know, what I'm learning is that we hear all this stuff, and you know, we're online and we're on Facebook and we're doing challenges and we're in people's groups and this, that, and the third, and we see lives and all this, and people are talking and they're all. And the thing is everybody talks about their journey like it should be everybody else's, but it's not. And the thing is you have people that are saying, oh, well, you should just focus on one thing. Well, I've never been able to focus on one thing. I'm not a one thing person. I'm not a one trick pony. It's in my DNA. I cannot just do that. I've tried, but it's not for me to do. You know,
that multi-passionism has been like
passionism and not
my arch nemesis.
Not multitasking. Not that, because that's crap.
Mm-hmm.
Multitasking, you're doing too many things. Something is going to get missed. It's not. It's too much. To me, it's like ADD or something. But no. But multi-passionate, yes, because you can be passionate about more than one thing, and you can do well at more than one thing.
Yes.
So that's one of those things too. Is like we have to, you know. My grandma used to say, "Chew up the meat and spit out the bones."
Yes, I've heard that one before.
Yeah. And then she used to say stuff like this, and I find myself saying it now. I'll talk to people, and they'll be talking about different things, and they'll make it so big, but it's not really that big. I look at it, and I'm like, that's a small thing, you know. And then I think, and I say to them, you know what? You gotta just live a little longer. My grandma used to say that all the time because we think things are so massive and so huge, and it's gonna affect our life forever and ever. When it's just a blip. It's just a blip.
That's true.
Just a blip on the screen, you know, is nothing. It's not.
But when you're in it, you can't see it that way because it's happening to me and everything's about me. And we get so egocentric instead of realizing that, okay, there's other people that have been through this. They've gotten through it also. It's okay. You're going to make it.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. And it's amazing when you begin to just discover that and put that together. And then also when you begin to just do that, chill, you know, just have the patience and then trust, you know, because trust, just like you said earlier, is a big thing. You know, we got to trust our spiritual team because, you know, our angels are around us, with us, speaking to us, going before us, and we pray these prayers. We say, angels go before us, you know, prepare the place. You know, I pray this before I go to work at my job that I love so much. So I pray before I go. Go before me, prepare that place, you know, make sure that everything is calm and smooth, and, you know, I don't have no crazy patients coming after me, and I don't have to kill nobody tonight. You know, but we don't always trust. You know, it's like we're, you know, just like you said, you were going to that place to volunteer, to do the makeup. You had no idea what it was going to turn into and what doors it was going to open for you. So that's powerful to me. But anyway, we could talk all day.
Can I share one more thing with you? I was in my studies the other day because I'm doing this study on the Bible, YouVersion Bible study thing. It's called Claim Your Crown. Okay. And the lady inside of the study, she said, God doesn't get frustrated with us. Like he has patience with us, and he allows us to like try, mess up and try again, you know? And when I read that, God doesn't get frustrated with us, it paused me in my tracks. I was like, wait a second. He totally gets frustrated with me, right? I would be thinking that, like, God, I know you're so frustrated with me. I'm so indecisive. I can't make up my mind. I do this, I do that. I make mistakes. But I went and I did a little bit digging because I'm like, okay, if she's saying this in a study, let me see who else says this or thinks this way. And I went and looked up another article, and the gentleman said that he gave us a definition of frustrate. And he was talking about how God, nothing or no one can frustrate the plans of God. So it was like that frustrating is like actually interrupting and like shifting something, to cause that person to be frustrated. And I thought that was so important because I was like, wow, it made God bigger to me, that like his will and his plan for my life can't be frustrated. I can't even frustrate the plans of God for my life, right? So everything that God has for me, it will come to pass because it's his will. Now we can reject God and we can push him away, but I'm talking about those of us who love God and we aren't asking him to be the Lord over our lives and all of that. Like he has grace and mercy for us and he doesn't get frustrated with us and nothing can frustrate his plans. So that was just something that I've been studying this week and just letting deposit like into my spirit that like, wow, even when I make mistakes, even if I make a poor decision, like, my heart and you have grace and mercy on me. And I'm so grateful for that. And that he does not get frustrated with us. Yes. So as we're going on our journeys to like fulfill our purpose and to be all that we've, ever dreamed we could be, know that God loves you and he has grace and mercy and we're co-partnered with him, like he wants to partner with us in relationship and in that plan to cause impact and create impact and to be purposeful. So I just wanted to share that last bit with you.
That's powerful. That that was worth it already just for the whole show.
Yes.
Because that's something that we deal with because you know what? We're human.
Exactly.
And we deal with that on usually a regular basis. Most of us, especially people that are empathic and people that do love the Lord. And then, I get where people ask me, well, do you believe in God? I said, yes, I do. Because God is so huge and he's so big and he's much bigger than you even know, than any of us can even conceive. Mm-hmm. I said, and so I believe in that bigness of God.
Yes.
I do. Okay, so I want to thank Justina for joining me on this journey. We have had such an amazing conversation, and I hope that you have enjoyed it. So what I want to ask Justina now is just to tell us where we can find her, because I know there are people watching or listening because we're on SoundCloud now. And so I know that people are watching or listening and want to know how they can connect with her, even people in her area or even outside, wherever, because she's being called to the planet. So let us know where people can find you, and I'll also put those in the comments when I post it as well.
Okay. Yes, you can find me on Instagram. I am on there as Makeup by J Ford. And then I'm also on there a second time as Mindset and Makeup by J Ford. So those are two places that you can find me. And then my website is justinaford.com. And I'm actually opening up a new location in Hinesville, Georgia. Wow. I will be on General Stewart Way. Okay. Look, I go sign my lease on the 1st, so I don't know my actual address just yet. But I'm super excited about the new space that I'll be opening up as a makeup studio, but makeup and coaching. I'm actually merging the two together the way that God has called me to do it from the beginning, instead of trying to separate the things like I've always been doing. Yes. So I'm going to be obedient. Sometimes we fight it, that thing that God has been telling us to do.
Yes, we do.
But yeah, so those are the places that you can find me. There was another place I was going to say, but I'll just send it to you. Yeah, there's Facebook also, facebook.com/makeup by J Ford. That's another place. Oh, and you can Google me. You can Google J Ford Creations Makeup Artistry. If you Google that, my listing will pop up and you'll be able to see me there as well.
Isn't it awesome when you get Googleable?
And the Google business will tell you like this many people saw your profile and this many people called you this week. So I love, that listing and that platform because you get the stats and stuff. So it's pretty cool.
On that, that's actually what I'm working on this week, is doing a Google My Business page, because long story.
Yes, Google is the bomb, and get those keywords too, because that's how people find me. They say, Hinesville makeup artist. I'm the first person to pop up. So
Oh,
I'm
that's
like,
what's up.
whoop, 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 first page.
Awesome. So thank you so much for joining me, Miss Justina. And she just gave you her details on how to find her, so you know where to reach her. You know how you can connect with her. And I'm just so grateful that she's come on. We've had such an amazing conversation as always. So thank you so much for joining. Make sure that you like, share, and subscribe to my channel. And I thank you so much. And like I said, you'll also hear it on SoundCloud as well. It'll be posted on LinkedIn. It'll be on YouTube as well. So thank you so much for joining. Bye now.
Bye.